And welcome back, everybody, to Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. I'm your host, Chris Farley. Alongside is my co-host, Phil Hargis. Phil, how are you?
Hey, it's good to see you again, man. Happy springtime to you.
Happy spring. We've got the cherry blossoms behind us, and they're in full bloom behind us, and they're going to be in full bloom soon. One of my favorite races of the year is the Cherry Blossom 10-mile race. And I'm going to bring in my guest here today is Phil Stewart. Phil.
Yeah, pleased to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Nice to be able to take a break from trying to get this thing organized, coming out here and chatting about it. So, but we are looking forward to a great race.
Great race. Yeah, well, good. Well, Phil, talk about some new stuff this year for the Cherry Blossom 10-miler, the women's 10-mile U.S. Championship.
Right, we're very, very excited about that. The credit unions put up some additional support. They're the presenting sponsor of this, and the race is going to feature many top American athletes. In fact, we have 3 Olympians, U.S. Olympians, who are going to come and take part in the event. Probably the hottest road runner on the road now, Janet Cherobim Baucom. Interesting story, actually. Kenyan by birth, married a U.S. citizen. Became a U.S. citizen just before the 2012 Olympic trials. She placed 6th in the marathon trials and then got a spot on the team at 10,000 meters.
On the track? Okay.
On the track,
wow,
actually.
Okay.
Ran in the London Olympics. She just won the Jacksonville River Run by a comfortable margin last week and has been really the dominant U.S. female competitor on the roads over the course of the last year. But we've got 2 other U.S. Olympians in the field. Jen Rines, who was on the 2004, 2008 Olympic teams, coming back. She's actually now training in London. She's coming back over for the race. And then Colleen DeRook. Now, Colleen DeRook was an Olympian going as far back as Barcelona in 1992, then ran in Atlanta, ran in Sydney, she was originally South African, then became a U.S. citizen, ran on the U.S., qualified for the U.S. Olympic marathon team in 2004. Interestingly enough, she is still the female course record holder of 51:16, which is the mixed sex record. And one of the interesting things this year is that with the USA Women's Championship presented by America's Credit Unions, the women will actually be running a separate race, which means they will be going after the single-sex American record, which is 54:38. So that record's a little bit soft, a little bit easier.
That's in jeopardy.
That one is definitely in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see, unless we have gale force winds out there, I could see, top 2 or 3 American women bettering that time. You have to go all the way back, and I believe this is right, to 1989 was the last time that an American woman was the overall winner of the race. And Janet Cherobim Baucom certainly is very much a threat, not only to win the U.S. Championship, but to be the first American female winner of this race in over 20 years.
Wow, that's exciting. So it's April 7th. April 7th, you can find all the details on cherryblossom.org. So if you're not in the race, which is already sold out, you can definitely come down and check it out. The women start about 7:20 in the morning, and then the main field will go off about 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later. And there's been so much focus on the women's field because of the championship. But we have the defending men's championship, Alan Kiprono, coming back. Last year, he broke the course record by nearly 20 seconds. He ran 45:14, so 4.5 minute miling for 10 miles. He's back in the field. He says he's more fit than ever. We got another young Kenyan, a 19-year-old Philip Langet, making his first U.S. Road racing appearance here. He's run half marathon, 61 minutes flat.
Wow.
So the men's race is going to be very exciting in its own right as well.
I think it's really cool to have the women's 10-mile championships here in D.C. because if you go to these races, the majority of them are women anyway. They're out there competing in these events.
It's really interesting. Our race every year, like clockwork, picks up another percentage of women. We're at 57% women. What my question is why aren't the men getting it? Because they're 57% women. I figure that sooner the men would come back and say, well, this is where the women are, and those percentages would begin to go back closer to 50-50.
I got a lot of single buddies.
Yeah, tell them all about it. It's the place to be.
That's a
they
good point.
go hang out down at the Finish Line Festival
That's awesome.
area.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Phil. It's the 41st running of the Credit Union Cherry Blossom 10-mile run, and there's also an accompanying 5K, and then the 10-mile Women's Championship. A lot going on April 7th. If you're not in the race, go down and check it out. You can also check it out online as well.
Right. Yeah, we have a streaming. We're actually on site. We're going to have jumbotrons down there. So if you do come down, you'll be able to watch it on the jumbotrons. But also, we're going to have a streaming video of both the men's race and the women's race. It'll be on our website, www.cherryblossom.org. So you can watch it either as the race is taking place, or it's going to be archived, so you can go back if you want to sleep in. You can watch it at 11 o'clock.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Phil Stewart, race director of the Cherry Blossom 10-mile run. For my co-host, Phil Hargis, I'm Chris Farley. This has been another edition of Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. Goodbye, everybody.